Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is Austin Miller, who will fight on LFA 240 August 28th. Hello, Austin. How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm good, and in a little bit more than a week, you will fight in your another fight in LFA. And if you can tell me right now, how do you feel before this fight, and after your first fight, do you feel like less stress because you know the promotion that you will be fighting?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're about a week and a half out, about 10 days at this point. I'm super excited. I cannot even express that enough. Um, Honestly, I don't think that I was really nervous the first time fighting on LFA. I mean, I've been doing this for about 5 years now, so every fight at this point is just kind of like another day. I kind of keep myself in this realm as much as I can, and this is a sport that I love, and this is something that I love to do is compete, and doing it for a bigger promotion like LFA is amazing. I absolutely love the opportunity, and I'm very, very grateful for it. But I don't really feel pressure at this point. It's kind of I have the utmost faith in myself and my abilities, as well as my coach's abilities to kind of get me through this camp. So I'm super excited to put on another show.
And to be honest, your fight in April, it was not only a like really, really good performance, but also against, I think that overall also really good prospect. So it was like a little bit prospect against prospect fight. You looked really good. You finished him, and I think that also this kind of fight can give you like additional confidence that you know that you can beat like tough opponent in your third pro bouts. So probably right now it can be a little bit, just a little bit easier.
Yeah, absolutely. No, Ethan was an outstanding prospect. I think as an amateur, he was 6-1, maybe 7-1, and then when we fought, he was undefeated. So by all means, he had a good skill set about him. He was an outstanding fighter. I was really looking forward to that challenge, and I felt really good throughout the whole fight. I had an amazing camp. My weight cut was simple and easy. That night, I mean, I felt like I kind of hit a little bit of a flow state. Felt like I was kind of reading everything very well. I felt light on my feet. Now I felt like everything that I was throwing was connecting. My shots were being set up good. So I think it was a great fight. I think I was a big challenge for me, and I'm very thankful that I was able to overcome it. And now I think this one too is going to be another one. My opponent is very skilled, so I'm excited to get into that ring and put on a show and kind of show my new skill set, or not really new skill set, but my skill set, and kind of overcome it and hopefully come out with another finish.
And actually, right now your opponent is 2-2, but also he got a kind of long, extended amateur experience, and I think that it can like bring some additional, maybe maybe not problem for you, but like let's say additional challenge because he's like a 13 fight amateur veteran. So definitely he got this kind of experience, but also you had I believe like seven amateur bouts too.
Yeah, so I had 7 in MMA, and then I think about 9 or 10 in kickboxing and Muay Thai. So in all, I've had about 20 fights, a little bit over 20 fights in my entire career. Um, yeah, no, experience is good, but I've always kind of accounted it as how do you kind of improve off of that experience? It's one thing to sit there and say that you've done something a million different times, but if it doesn't really correlate, if you're not really getting better or anything like that, then I mean, what's really the point in the experience? And I'm not saying that to like diss my opponent or anything like that. He's very skilled in his own regard, and again, I put nothing like. I'm not looking past him or anything like that. I think it's going to be a good matchup for both of us, a good test for both of our skill sets, and we'll see which experience came out on top.
And because you competed in like Muay Thai kickboxing, do you think about like taking more this kind of fights, or right now you are like super focused just on MMA?
Right now, I'm really focused on MMA. I feel like I'm on a good trajectory right now. I feel like I am kind of at the next couple stepping stones before we kind of get an opportunity, maybe get called up for Contender Series next year, or maybe even, who knows, Ultimate Fighter. So right now, that's kind of my main focus, is sticking on MMA. If a kickboxing or Muay Thai bout comes up that I think would be a good matchup in that, I'm not going to say no. I'm a fighter at heart. I'm here to fight, and I take challenges. So, whatever kind of comes forward. But right now, my main focus is on MMA and making it to that next big level.
And also, I believe that a few weeks ago you took some kind of like grappling match. And how do you like this kind of like rule set?
Yeah, no, it was my first grappling match that I'd ever done. I never did any wrestling in high school. My high school didn't have a wrestling team or anything, so I didn't really start doing all that until I started training about 6 years ago. So it was cool. I liked it. It was a really cool experience. CXBJJ is a fantastic show, and I'm in talks of possibly doing another one later this year with them. Um, Personally, I prefer the MMA rule set. I'm a striker at heart, so I like being able to throw shots. I like being able to throw some strikes in that. So the whole kind of grappling aspect is something I had to get used to, of just focusing on just transitioning to different positions, trying to set up submissions. But it was a very good experience, and I think it definitely helped my game a whole lot.
And I saw something like interesting on your IG that you put a kind of date. It was March 2029. And do you because it was like a picture with Islam Makhachev, who is of course right now a UFC welterweight champion. And do you is it like motivation for you and this date that to like March 2029 you would like to be like UFC champion or just like super high in the sport?
No, absolutely. My main goal is to be a two-time champion in the UFC in two different weight classes. Um, Now, yes, I did make a AI photo where it was me winning the belt over Islam. By all means, Islam's probably going to be retired by 2029, but no, it's definitely something that gives me extra motivation. I'm a big believer in the law of attraction. I'm a big believer in, if you truly believe something is going to happen and you speak it into existence, the only thing you have left to do is just to do it. So I truly believe in my abilities. I truly believe that I'm on the trajectory to make my dreams a reality. And if it comes by March 29 or March 2029, perfect. If it comes before then, even better. But I'm not here just to sit here and cross stuff off my bucket list. I'm here to make it to that high level in the UFC, become the next big name, become a two-time champion, and be able to retire with a shit ton of money and being able to take care of my family. So
And like two weight classes, so welterweight and which one?
I'd go back up to 85. So my first two fights that I ever had in my career, first one was at 210, and then my second one was at 185. So if I could win one at 70 first, and then defend it a time or two, and then move up to that 85, make that challenge there, that'd be a good goal for me.
Yes, and actually with age it's like really hard to go down to the like lower weight class. It's like almost always the fighter is just going up because he's like older and the body is like a little bit different than than it was like when like 10 years ago, let's say.
Right.
And you mentioned before like two things like Contender Series and the Ultimate Fighter. And let's say that you can pick one of them to like compete. Which one would you choose?
Oh man. Honestly, if I had to pick between the two, um, I would say the Ultimate Fighter would be a little bit more of a challenge, just because you have to fight at least two, maybe three times in order to get that contract. But if I had to choose the best option, I would say the Contender Series. I think they've done outstanding things with it. I think it's became a whole big show on top of it. I was just watching the Contender Series the other night, and I mean, every fight was fantastic. I think it's like the best kind of demonstration of how bad do you want to earn that contract. I mean, yes, the Ultimate Fighter takes place over, I think it's like a month and a half at this point. But Contender Series, when you're put on the spot and you have millions of people watching you, and it's like, look, you either show out tonight or maybe another time. And that I think that adds an extra sense of urgency to it and kind of heightens the skills a little bit. So I would pick the Contender Series if anything.
And actually, I really like the Ultimate Fighter. I watched it for like many years, but in the end, I think that right now it's a little bit like outdated concept because we are in the like world of like social media. So you know that the fighters, you know how they train and everything about them, and it's like really hard to promote them right now. I think that by the show.
Yeah. And like with that too, I think that they're kind of just running out of ideas with it. I mean, we've had DC being the coach for it for the past what 2, 3 seasons now, I think. And it's great. I love DC, don't get me wrong, but I would like to see some other coaches in there, get some other big names in there, get some champions in there against each other, have them coaching that. But uh all respect to all the legends in that, but when we have a couple of seasons where it's like DC and then somebody else who's currently retired and enjoying life and that, I feel like you can only get so much out of it. And that's nothing against them. Again, they have plenty of years of experience and they have plenty of skills that they can teach. But I would love to see what the people I would say in like the top 10 in their different weight classes are kind of doing right now. What's their ideology behind training? What are they currently doing? What can they show people that are trying to make this dream a reality?
Yes, or maybe like if DC needs to be in the show, maybe like against John Jones, it would be like
Yeah.
exciting one.
Well, they just did that with some like wrestling version of the Ultimate Fighter, didn't they?
Yes, it was, I believe, like in Thailand. It was like by a Russian show, but
Yeah.
it was like not like super known. I think that overall.
As I say, I've only seen a couple of clips here and there. I haven't actually watched it myself.
Yes, yes, and because like few days ago, Islam defended his belt. If you can tell me, what do you think about this fight? And overall, do you think that he like what should be next for him right now?
I'm going to be honest with you. I think the next thing is going to be a rematch between him and Ian Gary. I think that Ian had a really good, I shouldn't say really good. I think Ian had a good game plan against him. He stayed long. He kept him at his range. When he was on the feet, Ian was piecing him up. I mean, you seen Islam's face afterwards, but once Islam got in on that takedown, I mean, Ian wasn't really trying to get off that fence. I mean, he was kind of just standing there and not really doing anything and letting Islam just kind of like weigh on top of him. And honestly, Ian looked like the bigger guy. So, I mean, the whole time I was watching it, and who knows? Like maybe Ian wasn't feeling too great after the weight cut. I mean, who knows really what was going on? But in my mind, I was like, why are you not trying to get out of this more? Like he's defended a couple of takedowns from him. He was able to keep him at his range. I was more confused than anything else. I mean, I like Islam. I like his skill set. I wanted Islam to win, but it was kind of bittersweet seeing it. So I'm like, my guy, you got the difference between the two. You look tired. Your face is messed up a little bit, and Ian over there. I mean, there's not a scratch on him, and he looks like he can go another 2 rounds. So I think that they're definitely going to be calling for a rematch, and that might be the next thing for Islam.
I think that actually like Prates would be probably the best option right now because he's like, of course, like crazy striker. He's got really good wins, even like after Gary fights. So I think that it would be like really fun matchup. And Islam needs to be in this fight like super cautious. What's gonna happen? To be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. I can agree with that. I think Carlos Prates would pose like a really good threat against Islam. But again, when it comes to like Dagestanis, the main question always comes up of like how well can he defend the takedowns from him? I Carlos Prates is very well rounded. I think he does well in every situation. But when you have somebody as strong as Islam and as good of a wrestler as him, how much of that's going to be effective? How much can you actually like defend on it? And that's always kind of my main question with any of like these Dagestani guys. You could put them against the most well-rounded fighter, but how well can they defend all the takedowns from them? or even that, just how much pressure, like Islam or even when Habib was fighting, how much pressure they can put on you in those scenarios, and how well do you manage it, and how well can you try to fight out and get out of it.
And getting back to your career, because you mentioned that you didn't start with like wrestling background. So what was the first combat sport that you ever trained? And when did you feel like love for MMA and like need to compete in the sport?
Yeah, absolutely. So I played football all throughout high school and throughout college. And when I graduated college, I didn't really have anything else that I was doing. I was kind of just working and working out. So I had a buddy who I lived with in college who was going to a gym here in St. Louis at that time. And he invited me, and I started going to some class, like a couple kickboxing classes. Um, I had always watched UFC throughout like high school and everything. I always liked it, so I was like, cool. I just want to do this to like learn. I didn't really have any intentions of fighting. And then eventually I started doing private sessions with my now head coach, Eric Steenberg, and was doing sessions for about, I want to say a month and a half, 2 months. And I came in one day and he was like, hey, I have a promotion that's looking for an amateur fighter that's around your weight class. Would this be something you'd be interested in? I think that you could definitely win it. And I was like, okay, yeah, cool. Like we'll knock it off the bucket list. I think that'd be something cool to do. And then I ended up head kicking the guy in the first round and knocked him out. And then from there, I was sold. I was like, cool. This is my next thing. This is what I feel is my next calling, and I took it and I ran with it ever since.
Yes, and probably you can like fall in love with the sport when you can like knock out in the probably like really brutal fashion your opponent.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was shocked that I even landed it. I saw him hit the ground and I was like, oh shit, did I actually do that? That was awesome. So and going into like my second fight, I ended up TKOing him in the first round, and I was like, okay, cool. Like I think I'm on a good trajectory here, and just kind of kept going with it. And even after I took my first loss, I mean, it didn't diminish my love for it or anything like that. Like, if anything, it pushed me to get even more better and kind of push myself a little bit more in the gym and get better at certain areas that I was maybe lacking in. So, I mean, this is a sport that I fall more and more in love with on a daily basis, and I wouldn't give it up for anything.
And also, I think that like amateur career is good just to get some experience because you started really good, then you lost some fight, and right now, to be honest, nobody really think about it because right now everybody can see you as the 3-0 pro fighters. So it's like to be honest, like amateur fights, of course, like wins are great, but in the end, it's like just an experience at that moment.
Right. No, absolutely. And I definitely learned a lot more from my losses than I ever have from my wins. I mean, I know other people don't think about them, but every now and then, like it kind of pops up into my like mind. And sometimes I'll rewatch the couple, like the 2 or 3 losses that I had in my amateur career, whether it was kickboxing or MMA, and just kind of like rewatch them and be like, all right, cool. What was some things that I had like did wrong, or where were some areas that I can kind of touch up, just to kind of keep it fresh in my brain of like just keep a little bit more, keep my hands up a little bit more, change my movement up a little bit more. If I'm trying to pass a guard this way, maybe add this step onto it. So I learned a lot more from my losses than I ever did from my wins, that's for sure.
And if you can tell me about your gym and maybe mention some good prospects that you have there, and also the like thing that was it like the first full MMA gym that you started your career?
Yeah, absolutely. So I go to ES MMA and Fitness in Fenton, Missouri. We are owned and ran by head coach Eric Steenberg. He fought in Strike Force for a time being there as a pro. Um, he's been around the game for, I think, 20 plus years. He started off in karate at a young age and kind of moved his way up into kickboxing and MMA. He's been coaching for years and years. I mean, he's coached Joaquin Buckley, coached Evan Elder, who are both in the UFC currently. Um, I mean, he's outstanding. He knows damn near everything, I swear. Um, but yeah, I when he opened the gym back in 2021, he was currently coaching at a different gym here in St. Louis, and I followed him to his because I liked working with him, and I knew that he was going to be the one to kind of lead me to whatever I had dreamed of with this career. So I took a chance. I followed him, and I've stuck with him ever since. It was actually me and then another pro out of our gym, Kendall Whited, who also just fought on an LFA and got a win. Um, he is a 2-1 professional in the 155 division, and he is a fucking stud, man. He is outstanding by every way, shape, and form. And over the time, I mean, we've picked up more people. We've picked up Derek Holly, who has been a pro for some years now. He's been around the game for a while. And he's super knowledgeable. He has been my wrestling coach for the past year and a half now. He's been in my corner for pretty much my entire pro career so far. And then I have Corey Beck, who's been my jiu-jitsu coach throughout my entirety. He's been a professional fighter for a couple of years. He's retired now and a full-time jiu-jitsu coach. And I mean, the amount of knowledge that he possesses is second to none, in my opinion. So,
but getting back even to your coach, like if you have the sport has 33 years, so if you have over 20 years of experience, is like a super big part of the like history of MMA.
yeah, he's been around for quite a while. Like I said, he started in karate when he was at a young age. I think in his like early teens, if I'm not mistaken. And then moved into MMA from there. Was fighting as a pro for a while, and then he's also been coaching for I want to say about 13, 14 years. He's probably going to yell at me and say it was more than that, but I mean, he's been around for a while. He's seen a lot of things. He's followed the UFC for years and years and years since the early days. And he is I think a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. Um, I think that's correct. I could be wrong on that. And then he has been a striker throughout his whole career. So I mean, he's fantastic. The amount of knowledge that he possesses, I mean, it's outstanding. Pretty much any question that you could have at a certain position, he's got two different ways that you can get out of it. So.
And in your pro career, you won your fights by knockout. And do you think that it will be like another knockout in this fight, or maybe you have another like plan in your head, and maybe it will be like the fight will end in a submission? Do you have this kind of like thoughts about this fight?
Yeah, absolutely. So the way that I always explain it, I like finishes. I like knockouts. I'm a striker at heart, so that's always been my bread and butter. But I'm very well rounded. I want to make that very known. I'm very well rounded in every position. I make sure to kind of accentuate that in all of my trainings. Now I know that my opponent is a striker as well. I know that he has an extensive jiu-jitsu background. If I'm not mistaken, he's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. Um, I haven't really seen him go for many takedowns in his fights. I've watched a couple of them, and he's mainly stayed on the feet throughout the entirety. So I think that this is going to be a striking match more than anything. But as I've said in past interviews, every time that I fight a striker, they turn into a wrestler because I just don't think that they want to strike with me. So if it goes to the ground, I mean, I'm prepared for that too. I I never want to sit there and focus on one specific thing. Like my goal going into this isn't just to, all right, I'm set up the takedown and we're going to go for the submission. I'm here to fight, no matter where that comes from. If it stays on the feet, I'm going to knock him out. If it goes to the ground, then cool. We'll transition. We'll work with it. Maybe I'll get a submission. Maybe I'll finish him on the ground. But I definitely think that I'm going to finish him early in the second round.
Okay, Austin. So many thanks for the time and for conversation. Like I mentioned before, I was like really, really impressed by your last fight, and I think that probably there is like big chance that something also big will happen in this fight. But of course, like good luck, and I hope that you will take this in this kind of fashion.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate your time and I appreciate speaking with you.